Live from some hotel in Anaheim that's kind of near the D23 Expo. It's Bryan alongside Mark. What's going on, pal?
Hello, Bryan. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Today was D1 of D23 2022. We were both there. We're going to give you a quick recap on what you may have missed if you were not in SoCal. Mark, what do you think of day one?
Bryan, in terms of a day one, this was a very, very, very strong start. Now, word on the street is that you actually visited the Legends panel this morning. Is
that the word on the street?
Oh, that is the word.
That is how D23 got kicked off this morning. I went to the Legends panel where the cast of Frozen were inducted as Legends. The late, great Chadwick Boseman was inducted as well. His brother gave a very emotional speech to kind of close out the show. It was a great way to really kick things off. One thing to note, Mark, did you know that Mr. Bob Chapek, the CEO of Disney, was actually booed when he walked out?
He was actually booed.
He was. It was a little awkward. You know, you can't really get it in video. There are a couple videos circling right now, and you hear it a little bit, but I'll tell you what, being there in the Expo Center, there were definitely boos, and it was a bit awkward, but lasted about 15 seconds. Would you have booed yourself?
I don't know if I would have booed to his face, maybe silently,
Right.
like to myself.
Well, the place was so big, I was about 100 rows back, so I don't think he would have heard me anyway. I was not booing, I will say, but I agree, maybe a silent boo.
Yeah. You know, gotta be a little bit respectful. you know?
A little bit, I guess, if you insist. But no, it was a great way to kick off the weekend. It's going to be such a big weekend. Disney celebrating the 100th anniversary of the company next year. Yeah, 100. And Mark, I met you right after that, right after the Legends panel. We kind of walked around the trade show floor and saw some cool things. What stood out to you?
I'm gonna have to go ahead and say that the Disney Parks and Experiences booth absolutely stood out to me, Bryan. All the new features, all the new rides, including one very special remodeling of Splash Mountain. That is Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. Obviously, on Sunday, which will be day 3, we're going to have the full parks panel. We'll be there live to cover it, and that's going to be awesome, and they'll go into more detail. Hopefully, we'll get a Tron opening date, you know, considering they announced this freaking thing 5 years ago. But no, in all honesty, it was kind of cool to see how much they really revealed at this little parks booth that you had to walk through.
I mean, personally, I thought that a really nice touch to it was having Tiana there herself to kind of present the entire model to the guests.
Yeah, and she wasn't just like there with the wallpaper. She kind of came out of a couple of French doors, very New Orleans. But it was cool. And one thing I want to note about that Splash model, at the top, you know, a lot of us have been rooting for maybe like an Are You Ready Dr. Facilier climax. One thing that tells me that is not going to be the case is if you look inside of the top of the drop, you see the different colored bottles that are from the Dig a Little Deeper scene. So that tells me that that's kind of the way they're leaning. We might not get a Facilier. In fact, in all the descriptions about the ride, it all takes place after the movie, and spoiler alert, Dr. Facilier perishes. Another huge part of the event was the movie panel. We have to talk about it. Disney live action, Disney animation, and Pixar as well.
So many movies were announced, Bryan. It's hard to even contain how excited I am for all the movies that are coming out.
I mean, first things first, Hocus Pocus 2 comes out this month.
This month.
How crazy is that?
So excited. I mean, who would have thought that could have possibly gotten a sequel?
Right. If you check Rotten Tomatoes, the reviews would say, not worth a sequel, but we know that's not true. We couldn't be more excited for Hocus Pocus 2. Disenchanted is Enchanted 2w with Disney legend Idina Menzel.
Oh, and returning Amy Adams and Patrick Dempsey.
Also, Disney legend
Disney
Patrick
Legends.
Dempsey.
Cannot wait.
Haunted Mansion was mentioned. Trailer for The Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid looks amazing. What I didn't realize was the implementation of the darkness of the water.
Yeah.
The ocean is dark.
That's true. And we weren't sure if they were going to, you know, finally show Halle's face as the Little Mermaid, and they did at the very end. In classic Disney form, show the title and then one last shot, and it's
show her singing the iconic song "Part of Your World." She sounded beautiful, Bryan.
Yeah, we got Wish is coming out, Disney Wish, not the ship, but a movie, and then the big reveal as well, Mufasa. A lot of other cool stuff was mentioned in the panel, including, get this, the tag at the beginning of Disney movies, you know, where you see the castle and the shooting star and all that stuff. That is actually changing because they're going to celebrate the 100th anniversary next year, so you'll see a 100 for the movies next year. At least that's what I took it as. And finally, Mark, day 2 is tomorrow. The biggest event taking place is probably the Marvel and Lucasfilm panel, right? You looking forward to that?
Very much excited. I mean, I'm a huge Marvel and Star Wars nerd, so very excited for this panel, Bryan.
I will say one note I have to make is that the organization of the D23 event was a little all over the place. Half the people were wearing badges, half of them weren't. I had no idea where to go half the time. if you're a first timer, buckle up because it's not the easiest event to go through. With that said, I'm excited to go back tomorrow for day 2, especially for that Marvel and Lucasfilm event. So, Mark, last thing I'll say, day 1, it was your first D23.
Very first.
Rated on a scale of 1 to 10.
For day 1, because of the lack of security and things like that, I would have to give it a solid 7. There's a lot of really great things, and I'm very excited to see what it has in store.
Yeah, I would say, I'll give it a 6.9.
Ooh, you're a lot harsher of a critic than I am.
Yeah,
really.
it was great, and obviously there was the Encanto performance. I don't know if I mentioned that before. That took place in the Legends panel. That was really well done. But it was just a little disorganized, and outside of that, I was kind of, I don't know what I was expecting. Little Mermaid trailer, awesome, great job. They released that.
I'm actually going to say that I would give it a 7 only because you and I had some sandwiches there, and
very subpar.
The sub sandwiches were very subpar.
Yeah,
They were very
let's just say it was not Disney dining. Shout out DisneyDining.com, by the way.
There you go.
But no, this was definitely Anaheim Convention Center food. So. Yeah, with that said, 7.0 for day 1, 6.9 for day 1. Day 2 should be good. And then day 3, obviously the big day with the Disney Parks panel. Mark, till tomorrow.
Brian, till tomorrow.
See you guys.